Can you beat Pokemon Black and White with only Axew? Up till now, my runs have been with Pokemon that I knew were capable of beating the game, but is it even possible with this little guy? If so, will its time come anywhere close to the Pokemon we've already completed runs with? I chose Axew because as a dragon type it only has two weaknesses, dragon and ice, so I thought it would have a good chance of beating the game. Also, he's just so darn cute. I mean, how could you say no to that face? For this run, I ran into a few instances that called for additions to my usual rule set, which you can see on screen now. They're also in the description down below if you'd like to refer back to them. Off the bat, I'll mention that Axew actually has a pretty solid attack stat. This will let it take advantage of moves like Dual Chop, which it gets early, and Dragon Claw. Speaking of its moveset, it doesn't have much in the form of coverage, but Dragon Dance and Swords Dance offer good options when stat buffs are needed. In terms of TMs, the little dragon does get access to what I believe are two of the most important ones in this game, Dig and X-Scissor, so things are looking good. Side note, if you've seen my other runs, I feel like we've leaned heavily on these two moves, so for the next run, I'll be sure to pick a Pokemon that can't learn either TM. At level 10, Axew learns Dragon Rage, which is going to make our early game nice and easy. All it takes to get our first badge is 2 clicks of the A button, and we're able to move on. By the time we get to the second gym, Dragon Rage can't one-shot anymore. Even though I'm underleveled, I still think I'll be able to take Lenora down, but a crit takedown drops us to 0. Well, she got lucky that time, so let's go back in. Hertier's Intimidate is a bit of a problem, but the normal type user has fairly low-leveled Pokemon, so after a Dual Chop, I'm able to Dragon Rage for a kill. Hertier did Leer Axew and Watchog outspeeds us, landing Hypnosis. Next turn, we get leered 2 more times as Axew stays asleep, and then at -3 defense, Retaliate has absolutely no trouble one-shotting us. After giving Axew a Chesto Berry to hold, I decide to try again. After Dual Chop, Takedown does over half our health before killing Hertier. Watchog comes in but doesn't use Hypnosis as it opts to just win the battle with Retaliate. It was here that I decided to run a damage calc and realized that Watchog can OHKO us with Retaliate at every level before 27. This is because on the turn after an ally faints, the move's power gets doubled. Since it'll always come in after Hertier goes down, this means Lenora always has the opportunity to use a 210 power attack after the same type attack bonus. I know what you're thinking, but no, your eyes aren't deceiving you. It took just under half an hour to grind Axew from level 18 to 27. This Pokemon is part of the slow experience curve group, meaning it gets less EXP from battles than most others. I tried to avoid grinding throughout this run because it eats into our time, but there were other points where it was necessary. We'll get to them later. Now at level 27, it's time to take Lenora on again. Dual Chop is just short of KOing Hertier, so we get hit with Takedown and the recoil finishes the dog off. With 47 HP left, I think Watchog still kills with Retaliate, but let's see. We now outspeed and use Dragon Rage for around 70% of its health. It actually uses Hypnosis instead of the attacking move, so our Chesto wakes us up, and next turn we're finally able to get our second gym badge with 1 more Dragon Rage. With that win under our belt, we can confidently take on Berg and Castelia. At level 28, Axew learned Dragon Claw, which we used to open this battle. Our nimble girl manages to dodge Screech and take Whirlipede down next turn with Dragon Rage. Dwebble doesn't pose much of a challenge as we're easily able to take it out with 2 Dragon Rages while only taking 9 damage from Smackdown. Last is Leavanny, but with under 80 HP, 2 more Dragon Rages will be able to get the job done. It used String Shot on the first turn, so it does outspeed to connect Razor Leaf, but we still beat this gym no problem. Axew breezes through the Bianca and Sharon battles following this gym, so I pick up Dig and head to Nimbasa. Here we have to fight N after he reveals himself as the leader of Team Plasma. This is a good time to mention Axew's ability, Rivalry. The flavor text reads, does more damage to a Pokemon of the same gender, but that's not the whole story. The actual effect text, which isn't in the game, reveals that Rivalry increases the power of moves by 25% against the same gender, but lowers them by 25% against the opposing gender. I guess Game Freak didn't think that was important to mention. This is the reason N's Pokemon survived my Dragon Claws despite being 8 levels lower. It's also when I realized that this run just got a lot harder. Sure, it's great to do extra damage to females, but 25% is a significant amount to lose against males. You'll see this affect the run later on. But for now, we can take on Elisa. Axew learns Dragon Dance at level 32, so I made sure to level up twice before facing the gym leader. Emolga can't really do too much damage, so I'm free to set up 2 Dragon Dances while tanking Pursuit and Aerial Ace. Now at +2 attack and speed, I can outspeed the Flying Rat and kill with Dragon Claw. I get a little unlucky here as the second Emolga's static paralyzes Axew, but we resist Zebstrika's Flame Charge and are able to take it down with a single dig. So far, I'd say this run is going pretty well, but I wish we hadn't had to spend so much time grinding before Lenora. After beating Sharon again, we're able to cross the bridge into Driftfield City. The team plasma fights in cold storage are never a challenge, so now we can go against Clay. Knowing his Krokorok will use Bulldoze to get a speed advantage, we have a perfect opportunity to get to +1 attack with Dragon Dance. Then, still at neutral speed, we're able to take the first kill with Dragon Claw. Excadrill is next, and I decide to Dragon Dance again since Rivalry means we'll need to be a +2 to one-shot it. The mole uses Hone Claws, so it boosts attack and accuracy, but we're still faster. After another Hone Claws, we pop up from the ground and strike for our second kill. Last is Palpitoad, but it can't stand up to Dragon Claw, and that's it for our 5th gym. Bianca catches us on our way out of town for another bout with her team. I open with Dragon Dance to negate the attack drop from Intimidate as Herdier uses Takedown. Then Dragon Claw kills and Pignite comes in. Rivalry comes into play again as the starter lives Dig and hits us with another takedown. After Bianca heals, the Wrestling Pig goes down to 2 Dragon Claws. I use Assurance on Masharna, which does over half its health, but then it lands a Hypnosis. Next turn we stay asleep but survive a Psybeam, so we get another chance to wake up. Of course we don't, and a second Psybeam sends us back to the Pokemon Center. After giving Axew a Chesto Berry to hold, I take Bianca on again. This time Herdier uses Workup, so I decide to use a second Dragon Dance, which is answered with another Workup. Next turn I'm able to kill with Dragon Claw, and now we're actually in better position than last battle. Pignite goes down to Dig, but Masharna, being as bulky as it is, lives my +2 Assurance. It only used Lucky Chant, so after Bianca spams Hyper Potions, it only takes a few more attacks to take it down. Last is a Dragon Claw to Pansage's face, and we're off to Chargestone Cave to fight N. I open by setting up 2 Dragon Dances as N's Boldore hits with Power Gems, bringing Axew down to half health. Now I use Dig, but I know it won't knock the rock monster out since it has Sturdy. At least instead of attacking again, it opts for Iron Defense this turn. After an Assurance kills, Joltik is easily taken care of with Dragon Claw. Ferroseed comes out next, which is always a problem to deal with. It survives Dig, which means we take damage from its Iron Barbs ability. After Metal Claw, we drop it with Dragon Claw, but Iron Barbs brings Axew down to 11 HP. At least Clink is N's last Pokemon, since we're able to outspeed and get the win with Dig. After ringing the bell at Celestial Tower, which you should all do to get notifications after subscribing down below, we make a beeline to Skyla at her gym. At level 41, Axew has a pretty good level advantage, so this shouldn't be too bad. We're able to Dragon Dance twice as Swoobat uses 2 Amnesias. Next turn we outspeed and get an Assurance kill. The Unpheasant and Swanna both go down to Dragon Claws, so that's a clean sweep for Axew. On our way to Twist Mountain, we pick up the X-Scissor TM and teach the move to Axew over Assurance. Before entering the cave, Sharon challenges us to another battle. He scouts with Detect turn 1, meaning we get our first Dragon Dance off for free. Next turn I set up another as Air Slash hits for about half our health. He detects again, but then I'm actually surprised Unpheasant survives a +2 Dragon Claw. Now Air Slash brings us into a very scary range, but we kill the bird with another Dragon Claw. Servine doesn't have priority, so a super effective X-Scissor takes care of it, but Liepard has Fake Out. Oh, I guess he didn't want to win. Well, after that X-Scissor kill, Simipour goes down to Dragon Claw, and we're free to move on to Issaris City. But first I take some time to catch a Tranquil and Scraggy since Fly is good to have, and I'll need a Strength user to pick up some rare candies. Since Bryson is super effective against Axew and all his Pokemon are male, I ran some damage calcs to see how we'd fare. Let's just say not well. I determined that Axew would need to be at level 55 to have a better than decent chance of beating the Ice Gym. After catching Palpitoad for Surf, I scoured the region for the currently available 7 rare candies. Now I can do a mini grinding session to get to level 47. I know this is kinda glossed over, but it took around 20 minutes of this run's overall time to do. My hope was Bryson's gym trainers would get Axew to 48 before the gym leader, and then I could use my rare candies to beat him. But because of Rivalry, I can't one-shot this male Vanillish with Dragon Claw even though I'm 11 levels higher than it. And Axew isn't really bulky, so a super effective Ice Beam kills. I rare candy up to level 54 where I can beat him no problem, and now I can't do anything but take on Bryson. Axew learned Swords Dance at level 46, so for now I got rid of X-Scissor. I wasn't sure if I'd need both Swords Dance and Dragon Dance, but figured I could always reteach the X-Scissor TM if necessary. We open with Swords Dance as Vanillish uses Acid Armor, so essentially the turn was moot. Next turn I get to +4 attack as Bryson decides to use Frost Breath for around 55% of our health. Since I already outspeed his whole team, I'm able to use Dragon Claw for a kill. Beartic is the Pokemon I'm most scared of. Even at +4 attack, it was already going to be a roll to kill at level 55, so now one level lower the odds are even worse for us. I click Dragon Claw and luckily it takes the polar bear down. Last is Cryogonal, which would die to any touch, so at 54 Axew was able to beat Bryson. From here is the usual clearing out Dragon Spiral Tower, Relic Castle, and getting the Lightstone from Lenora before we body Bianca's team. By the time we're ready to battle Drayden, Axew is at level 57. I start with a Swords Dance as his Fracture Dragon dances. Since we're 16 levels higher, we still outspeed our stage 1 evolution at +1, so we kill with Dragon Claw. Next is Druddigon, but again we're able to one-shot. Its Rough Skin does a little damage as Axew levels up to 58 and our final evolution Haxorus hits the field. Even though we're a base form Pokemon, we still outspeed and rip through the Eldest Dragon to secure our 8th gym badge. This last Sharon battle is usually pretty tough, but we managed to beat him without taking any damage. I will mention that I wanted Dig and X-Scissor back in the moveset, so I decided to keep Dragon Dance over Swords Dance going forward. We'll touch on this soon. Victory Road goes smoothly as I arrive at the league with a level 60 Axew. I'm not sure if this is going to be a high enough level to finish the game, but I decided to give it a try because as we've already proven, grinding this Pokemon is grueling. For consistency of runs, I always take the Elite Four members on from left to right, so Chantal is first. Axew opens with Dragon Dance as a crit Shadow Ball almost one-shots us. Unfortunately, a +1 Dragon Claw just isn't enough to knock out Cofagrigus, so we immediately lose to Chantal's first Pokemon. If you haven't seen my other runs, I bring a low-leveled Pokemon with me so I can swap out the legendary that we're forced to catch against N and get a clean switch to the Pokemon we're actually using. After Pansear dies, I decide to try again because the crit was unfortunate. This time our Dragon Dance is met with a turn 1 Will-O-Wisp. With my attack now halved, I need to set up more Dragon Dances in order to kill, but before I can get to that point, Cofagrigus takes us out again. This time before entering the league, I fly to Nimbasa and go to the desert resort to battle this Pokemon Ranger. After beating her, she gives us a Rostberry, which just might be the answer to our problem. This time Will-O-Wisp doesn't come out and Shadow Ball gets a defense drop, so Psychic kills us on turn 2. I really didn't expect things to go this poorly. But where there's a will, there's a way, right? Finally on attempt 5, Chantal uses Will-O-Wisp, so our first Dragon Dance is free. Cofagrigus tanks a +1 Dragon Claw, surviving with about 5 HP, but we dodged the second attempt to burn us. We lost Rivalry because of Cofagrigus' Mummy ability, so Dragon Claw brings it down to the yellow, but out of range of a second Hyper Potion. This means we can finally kill the sarcophagus and see Pokemon number 2, Golurk. This ghost robot survives Dragon Claw and kills itself with Curse. I try using Dragon Claw instead of Dig against Chandelure to avoid more damage from Curse, but by the time I take it out, Axew also dies. I'll spare you my last stubborn attempt before realizing this isn't possible at the current level. I also realized that Dragon Dance was the wrong call over Swords Dance. I don't know if you guys will be okay with this, but my last save was right before the battle with Sharon when I deleted the move. I reset my game to that point and keep Swords Dance instead this time. I still counted the time for my failed attempts, but didn't run the timer for the second journey from Sharon to the league, since that double counts the same thing. Hope we're all good on that. I start the timer again and get Axew up to level 62 for the next bout with the Ghost Expert. Turn 1 we Swords Dance as our Rossberry heals the burn from Will-O-Wisp. Now I get to +4 attack as we dodge the next one. From here, Dragonclaw kills Cofagrigus and Golurk. When Chandelure comes in, we kill with Dig and another Dragonclaw drops Jellicent for our first win. Now it's time for Grimsley and his Dark types. We open the battle against Scrafty with 2 Swords Dances as it annoyingly sand attacks twice. We miss 2 Dragonclaws before getting the kill, and now Crocodile comes out. Here's the thing, I knew I was going to lose to his last Pokemon Liepard since it has Fake Out. I decided to save some time and just reset to the beginning of the league here. Clearly we're still not in good enough place to finish this challenge, so instead of wasting more time, I finally cave and decide to plan the rest of this run. I fly back to Dragon Spiral Tower to pick up the Dragon Fang that I didn't even think to grab on the first go round. This item will boost Dragon type attacks by 20%, almost cancelling out the Rivalry drop against male Pokemon. Then I spend 52 minutes grinding Axew up to level 70, which is where it finally has a real shot at beating this game. After I cleared out all the trainers who gave decent experience, I was forced to surf up and down Victory Road to fight Basculin for 45 of the 52 minutes. I swear I never want to see another one of these things as long as I live. Finally at level 69, I can use the last rare candy from Victory Road to get to 70, and don't worry, I'm not making you watch another Chantal battle. Now let's see how Grimsley goes. With the Dragon Fang equipped, I only need 1 Swords Dance before I'm able to sweep Grimsley's team, so Scrafty gets off 1 Sand Attack and dies to Dragonclaw. Even with Crocodile's Intimidate, we're able to kill with a +1 Dragonclaw or X-Scissor, so I opt for the Claw. Bisharp is next, who we can kill with a single Dig, and that just leaves Liepard, who like I mentioned before uses Fake Out and then dies to X-Scissor. Finally, time for the easiest member of the bunch, Caitlyn. All I need to do is set up a Swords Dance, and as long as Psychic isn't a critical hit, we'll win. Doesn't even matter that she got the special defense drop since Reuniclus goes down next turn to X-Scissor. Sigilif dies to Dragonclaw, and then both Musharna and Gothitelle get taken out with X-Scissors. When it was time for Marshall, I actually threw the game. Hard. Since his throw didn't use Bulldoze turn 1, I was actually in perfect position to win on my first attempt. For some reason, I forgot that I only need to use 1 Swords Dance to win, and I used a second, sealing my fate. Marshall has the best designed team from a strategic standpoint. His throws Bulldoze usually makes a Pokemon slower than both his Sawk and Mienshao. Once throw goes down, Sawk is usually next out, and thanks to its ability Sturdy, you can't one-shot it, so it'll always hit you at least twice. Then, even if you get through the slow Kinkeldor, Mienshao is lying in wait to finish you off. By clicking Swords Dance that second time after throw's payback, I made it so I would need Sawk or Mienshao to miss an attack to win. Granted, I was expecting a turn 1 Bulldoze, so Marshall is a lottery either way. But the game gave me an opportunity to win that lottery, and I threw away the ticket. Now, if you're wondering if it's possible for Axew to guarantee one-shot throw, the answer is yes, but only at level 100. So now I'm faced with the decision between grinding 30 levels or getting lucky. Since it took 50 minutes to get from level 62 to 70, I can't imagine any situation where going with luck is slower than grinding here. I was able to consistently get to Marshall every attempt from here on out, aside from this one where Caitlyn's Reuniclus actually got the turn 1 critical hit Psychic, so that was sad. Funny enough, it was the very next attempt that I won, so let's see how it happened. Turn 1 I set my Swords Dance up and throw uses Bulldoze. Then since I still outspeed the first Pokemon, I kill it with Dragonclaw. Sawk comes in and misses his first Stone Edge as I use X-Scissor to keep it out of healing range. Next turn, Stone Edge hits and doesn't crit, so we take Sawk down with Dragonclaw. Kinkeldor is never an issue at -1 speed, so we just shred him with another Claw. Then it's the moment of truth against Mienshao. Jump Kick lands and we live on 12 HP as one last Dragonclaw destroys the fighting type for our Elite 4 win. All that's left now is N and Getsis, so after being forced to catch Reshiram, let's see how our endgame goes. Like I mentioned earlier, I open with a quick swap to Pansear to get obliterated by Fusion Bolt and get a clean switch into Axew. I Swords Dance as N uses Light Screen, but I haven't used a special attack this entire run, so that's not going to matter. At +2 attack, we outspeed for a super effective Dragon Claw kill and also drop Vanillux before it could take us down with Ice Beam. To my surprise, when I ran damage calcs for this fight, I noticed that Axew just has enough speed EVs to be able to outspeed Archeops, which is honestly crazy. This makes the fossil Pokemon a non-threat as one Dragon Claw takes it down. Then Kling Klang dies to Dig and Zoroark can't survive an X-Scissor. This leaves N with my least favorite Pokemon on his team, Caracosta. Sturdy is so tough to deal with in these solo runs. After Dig connects, we actually dodge Stone Edge, so now we're pretty much home free. It just takes 2 Dragon Claws to get the win after N uses a Hyper Potion, and wow, we just beat him damageless. But it's not over yet. It's time for the final fight against Ghetsis. Again, Reshiram is our lead, so I need Pansear to eat a Shadow Ball. With that out of the way, we bring Axew in. I Swords Dance as Cofagrigus lands Toxic, so our turns are numbered. The Toxic stall starts, but after a Protect, we don't kill with Dragon Claw. Rivalry is really gonna screw us till the very end here, isn't it? With Mummy now as Axew's ability, we're able to take out Ghetsis' lead, but Toxic damage takes us all the way down to 5 HP. I click X-Scissor and Hydreigon outspeeds us? Does anyone know if this Hydreigon is always a plus speed nature? Because this simply shouldn't be the case. Let me know down below. We were gonna lose that battle anyway, but maybe it was just luck on the AI's part? After letting Hydreigon kill Reshiram, I decided to try a new strategy. I can't give Axew a Petra Berry because she needs the Dragon Fang to do enough damage to KO most of Ghetsis' Pokemon. Then I find my answer. Axew can learn the TM for Taunt, and since we outspeed Cofagrigus, we can make sure it doesn't use Toxic. I don't need X-Scissor anymore, so we replace it and go in for round 2. Of course he uses Shadow Ball on turn 1 and gets the special defense drop. Next turn I Swords Dance and barely survive Shadow Ball number 2. We know we can't kill until we get Mummy, so sadly attempt 2 ends here. On attempt 3, Ghetsis actually goes for Toxic on turn 1, so Taunt works out beautifully. Now I set up 2 Swords Dances so I can one-shot, but in return I have to take 2 Shadow Balls before Cofagrigus gets KO'd. Now let's see if Hydreigon beating me was a fluke. Nope. He still outspeeds and manages to hit Focus Blast, and it's a crit, so we go down. After confirming this thing is in fact plus speed, I realize I need a new strategy to win. If I could just get Axew to +1 speed, she'll always be the fastest thing on the field. But I don't have a move I can get rid of. Dig is the one I need the least, but Ghetsis' Bisharp resists Dragon Claw, so if I didn't have Dig, I'd need to be at +3 attack to have any chance at a kill. Then it hits me. Get ready for an absolute huge brain play. I fly to Dragon Spiral Tower and pick up the Heart Scale outside the building. Then I fly to Mistralton City to go to the move reminder and delete Dig for Dragon Dance. Who would have thought Axew's final moveset would only have one damaging move, let alone Dragon Dance and Swords Dance? Well, it's time to face the evil mastermind for what's hopefully the last time. After a turn 1 Protect, our Taunt strategy still works as we block Toxic on turn 2. Now I set up a Dragon Dance as we get hit with Shadow Ball. Next turn it's Swords Dance to get us to +3 attack and +1 speed. Taunt wears off here, but the groundwork has already been laid. We kill next turn with Dragon Claw and get Mummy. Feels so good to outspeed Hydreigon, like we should have been doing all along. Bouffalant and Seismitoad both go down, and now it's the moment of truth. No way Bisharp lives on 1 HP and kills us with Night Slash. A crit to boot. Time for a salty run back. The first 4 Pokemon go exactly the same way, so let's jump right to Bisharp. That's right, who's getting the critical hit now? Didn't even make it a roll. Oh yeah, there's an Electros, but... and that does it. So to answer our original question, can you beat Pokemon Black and White with only Axew? The answer is yes, but with a lot of brain power, patience, and a little bit of luck. The only question left is, can I mash A fast enough to get the timer under 5 hours? Another yes. Axew clocks in at 4 hours, 58 minutes, and 5 seconds, or an in-game time of 11 hours and 52 minutes. That's almost twice as long as it took Samurott. The slow experience curve and the fact that Axew's base stage really made things difficult here. Sure, Rivalry helped us out in some battles, but honestly I think the run would have been easier if we had Mold Breaker instead. I'm actually curious if this is a good time or not for a Pokemon with similar stats. Guess you'll have to keep coming back to find out. If you enjoyed this video, consider hitting that like button and subscribing if you want to see more of these runs. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.